Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel PantherSchools. My name is Amit Singh and we are here in the episode 5 of our Salesforce interview question and answer series. In this video, we have interviewed a guy with 2 years of experience in Salesforce development and we have tried to cover various aspects in terms of Salesforce admin and Salesforce developer so that you can get most benefit out of it. So, I hope you are going to enjoy this episode. You're enjoying this series. Please give us a like, share, subscribe, and also press that bell icon so that you don't miss any notification from our channel. And if you have a feedback, please put into the comment section of the video. As well as if you are interested to participate into the mock interview, please reach out to us via our email sftcpanther@gmail.com and we would be happy to interview you. So, without a further delay now, let's quickly get started with the podcast.
So can you please tell me the differences between process builder flow and workflow?
Yeah, coming to workflow, we can perform actions like updating a field and sending an email alert and creating a task and outbound message. Where coming as process builder, we can automate many things like we can submit a record for approval. We can post something in chatter, and we can also call an apex class. But the apex class method should be an invocable method, and also we can send an email alert as well, and also we can call an auto launch flow from the process builder, and
Okay.
we can also invoke a process from it. So coming to flows, right? So
Yeah.
flows, we can create records, update records, delete records, and we can also call apex actions, and there are some quick actions like that. And the main difference between the process builder and the workflow is we can update the related records as well in process builder and flows, but we can't achieve this using workflows. And coming to the difference between the process builders and triggers is, so
Mhm.
if we want to, I mean, if you want to perform any operation before the record is inserted, it's only possible through trigger. But coming to the new, I think in new summer 20 release in flows, Salesforce released a new feature like we can add after insert logic and before insert logic in flows as well. That's a pretty cool feature. Yeah, this
Yes,
is the
that is
basic.
what I was about to tell you later. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And we
So
can't
that's great.
yeah so the main drawback here is, if you want to perform any operation after the record is deleted or before the record is deleted, it's not possible through workflows, process builders and flows. It's only possible through triggers.
Yes,
Yeah.
agree. So in case of flow, when since you have worked upon flow as well, so
Yes.
whenever the operation is finished, like when we press the finish button, we wanted to navigate to the detail page of a particular record. So how is it possible?
uh
So as
I'm
in,
not sure. Yeah, yeah.
okay, let me elaborate my question more.
Yeah,
So
okay.
as in, I'm using the record create element of the inside the flow for creating a case record. So I wanted to navigate to that particular case ID once I click on the finish.
Okay, okay, got it. No idea, Nidhi. I mean, I did not got this scenario in real time. Do you have any idea
Okay.
about it? Yeah.
Yes, yes,
I mean,
I will
can you
tell
please
you.
tell me? Yeah.
Yeah. So what we usually do, we have the feature of the return URL. So
Okay.
we just pass the return URL in the form of ID, which is while creating an object record, we get the ID. So we
Yes.
pass that ID in the return URL, and we can easily navigate to the record page.
Okay. Okay. Got it. I'll try to do it yeah, today or something, some other day.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, going to the profiles and role thing. So
Yes.
what is the difference between that profiles and roles? Just a hairline
So
difference.
yeah, profile is like an we can give permissions for all, like field level security and record types. What are the record types available for the user? Profile can contains multiple users. So while creating a user, profile is the mandatory thing. It's basically like a report card which includes all the permission which user can access. like a field level security, what are the record types available for the user, and what are the page layouts and object level permission, create, read, edit, delete. And also we have view all, modify all. So coming to roles, it's basically a record level security. So if there are two roles, there are two user, one user has a role of employee and other user has a role of manager. So that
Mhm.
manager can see the records under his role. I mean, see the records of an employee role. That's the difference between the profile and role.
Okay, so can we assign more than one role to a particular user?
And no, only one role for per user.
And is it mandatory to assign a role while creating a user?
No, it's not mandatory.
Okay, okay, fine. So, as in for one user, there was one scenario that I was not able to see the setup and the developer console in the gear icon. So, what can be the possible cause?
uh, Maybe development mode is off in profile level.
Mm-mm. Okay.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
that's the issue. Is that correct?
So, no, no. Actually, we have a permission called as author apex in
Okay,
profiles.
okay,
So
okay,
we need to assign at the profile level so that all the users belonging to that particular profile will get the access of the
okay.
setup as well as the developer console.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay, so now going to the view state thing. So have you experienced the view state error ever in your projects?
No, actually, I started my career with Lightning development, so I was not more into Visual Force pages, so I did not get chance to build the VF pages in real time. I was
Okay,
more
so
into
do you,
Lightning.
yeah, so that's okay that you started your career with Lightning. That's
Yeah.
good. So do we get this type of error in Lightning,
Uh, I mean, whichever view state.
view state? Yeah.
Mm, till now, I did not face it neither.
Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, actually in Lightning, this Aura framework, we don't get this type of error.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so moving over to the Apex trigger. So what are the best practices of writing an Apex trigger?
So one of the best practices, so to avoid the governor limits, I'll not use a sockpull or DML statement in for loop, and I also avoid to use nested loops like a for loop inside a for loop. Instead of, I'll go with something like collections using maps or something like that. And I also, instead of writing a logic in the trigger, I'll try to call an handler class from it, so that I'll try to put the reusable code in that handler class and call that class from the trigger. And the best practice what I follow is, I'll use an interface framework, trigger handler interface framework. It's a good practice. And
Hmm.
other thing is, so if I want to make a web service call, I'll use asynchronous apex, like calling a future method from the apex trigger. uh, this is the good practices which I follow.
So do you write more than one trigger for on
No,
a
no,
object?
yeah, yeah. We can't. I mean, there is a possibility we can create a two triggers, but it's not a good practice because the execution is not guaranteed. We can't guess which trigger will be executed first or second. It's not guaranteed in that scenario. So it's better to have one trigger for each object.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. So, so what about the sometimes maybe you might have experienced this error maximum trigger depth reach.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Uh,
why do we face this error and what is the possible solution we as a developers use to avoid this?
so maximum trigger depth increase is caused. Is it for mixed DML, right? Is the same as mixed DML, right? Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me,
Yeah,
lady?
it's just yeah, now I can hear you. It's just due to the recursion.
Okay, okay. So we can avoid it by using a static boolean variable. So there may be a chance like trigger will be into an infinity loop. So to avoid it, we can use a static boolean variable and just make sure to execute the trigger only once.
Okay, so before performing any DML operation, we just initiate the Boolean variable.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. So, what's the basic differences between SOCL and the SOCL?
Uh, so Sockwell is like we can get the fields from only one object, and whereas coming to SOSL, we can it's basically a search language. So we can search in multiple objects. We can get the results of multiple languages. The maybe the syntax of the SOQL is select fields, all the fields from object name, and we can also put where clause as well. Whereas SOSL, it will only search in text fields and uh, email fields and phone fields. I think phone is not
Correct.
possible. If phone is possible,
Mhm.
I am not sure about it.
Yeah,
Maybe, yeah. So it will search in all the objects. So number of for every thing there is a limit in Salesforce. So number of SOSL we can use in a transaction is 20, and number of SOQL we can use is 150.
yeah. Have you worked upon the test classes?
Yes, Nidhi. Yeah.
So, what are the best practices of writing the test class?
So first thing is I'll try to create a test data factory. So instead of
Mhm.
creating the records in every test method, right, we can directly call that test data factory, which acts like as an handler class. So it will give all the records for us. So the best practice is always never use at the rate test dot see all data is equal to true, because it may cause while there may be a chance of test class may fail while deploying the code. So it's not the good practice to use that annotation. And other thing is one of the best practices is for every method we have to use the system.access statements to compare the actual and expected thing written from the main class. So if there are any private methods which are used in the Apex classes, to cover the private method, the private method should be annotated with at the rate test visible. And coming to other thing is, so we can also load test data. We can also load the test data from static
Correct.
resource as well. Uh,
Correct.
uh, yeah, why? Because so in test class, if we are creating an account, so for now there is only one required field called as account name. Maybe in future we may make rating as also required. In that scenario, test class may fail. So that it's better to load the Excel sheet into the static resource and call that static resource in test class and create the test data. I mean, we can just modify the instead of modifying in the code, we can directly modify it in the Excel and load it in static resource,
Yeah.
and that will be the good practice which I follow.
Yes. Yes. This is the correct practice which we used to follow in our projects also.
Yes, yeah.
So, if I have a scenario to delete a Apex class or trigger from production, how can I proceed?
We can use destructive XML. Using destructive XML, we can delete a Apex class.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So do you use the force.com and migration or the workbench or force.com ID what for
For
this?
deployments,
For the
I,
deletion purpose, actually, maybe the
uh,
destructive XML you suggested.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
I'll be using ant migration too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you worked upon the custom settings and the custom metadata type?
Yes, yeah.
So what are the basic differences and which is preferred over
Uh,
another
s-
one?
okay. So custom metadata is new one. Whereas coming to custom settings, there are two types of custom settings. One is list and hierarchy. Uh, Hierarchy is like I'll try to give in a example way. So for example, if we
Mhm.
have a trigger, so and if you want to run the trigger to a particular user and want to skip that trigger logic for a particular user, we can achieve this using hierarchical custom settings. So custom settings and custom metadata is similar. It's similar to custom object, but the thing is, it will store the data in the cache, And the major difference between the custom settings and custom metadata is, so custom metadata, we can write a SOQL on it, but we can't write a SOQL in custom settings. But even
Yes.
after writing the SOQL in custom metadata, it not cover up in the governor limits. If you are using a custom metadata SOQL query, it will not
Mhm.
cover in the government limits. And also we
Yes.
can deploy the custom metadata records. We can directly deploy the custom metadata records to any other sandbox or any other production, but we can't deploy the data in the custom settings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. So, so have you worked upon the knowledge articles?
Yes. I mean, I don't have a real time, but I did some trailers on it. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so do you have some idea that how can we control the visibility of knowledge articles? So what's the feature provided by Salesforce so that we can control the visibility?
Uh, no, I'm not sure about it. I did some trailer long back. I don't remember it.
Okay.
Can you give me
So
a
do
brief
you,
on it? Yeah.
yeah, just I have some idea about it. Do you have some idea about the data categories?
Yes. Yes. We I have. I know about data categories. Yeah.
Okay, so usually we use the data category and the related mappings
Yes.
to control the visibility of the knowledge articles based upon the users.
Okay. Got it. Yeah.
So actually, recently we had to have a one requirement that on the we have related list, sorry,
Yes.
list views.
Yes. Yeah.
So on the list views, we do have one list view name as recently viewed.
Yes.
So on that, we have a new button. So actually, in the search layouts, we have removed the new buttons, but from the recently viewed list view, we are not able to remove it. So we wanted to restrict the users creating the record from that new button. How can we proceed?
Uh, no, I'm not sure about it.
So do you understand the problem?
Yes, I understand the requirement. So it's not visible in the recently. It should not visible in the recently viewed list view. So we
Yes.
can remove it from the search layouts, right? So we can remove
No.
it from the.
Yeah. That's pretty much straightforward that we can remove it from the search layout, so it will not be visible in another list views apart from the recently viewed list view. So there is an idea already posted in the idea forum. So that there is just a workaround for that. We can create a visual force page and override the properties, and we can just provide a message to the user that
Yes,
you
I mean,
cannot create any record.
yeah, we can override that and call a lightning component or visual force page and just pop up a message. That's a good idea.
Pop up a message, as well as we can create a validation rule
Yes,
while performing an operation for a specific record type.
got it. Yeah, yeah.
So so once we were trying to deploy one report using chain set, so that particular report was not visible in the chain set. What can be the possible reason?
Uh, maybe sharing is missing. I mean, folder. So particular user does not have an access to a folder which the report is in. I mean, the report folder does not have an access for the user.
Yeah. So actually, we were system administrator.
Okay.
So the report was created inside the private folder.
Yes, maybe. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Um, so, so have you worked upon some deployment tools?
Yes. So in my initial stage, so I used chain sets, but the thing is, I've used different deployment tools for my projects based on the
Mhm.
client requirement. Like there are some old systems which I worked on. So based on their best practices, we followed. Like I worked on Ant migration tool in one of the project, and I worked on Force.com IDE, which is recently retired. So
Mhm.
our team now we are using Visual Code Studio because of Force.com is retired. So right now we are using Visual Code Studio. Yeah.
VS Code. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So by that you must. So have you in your team they are utilizing the CI/CD process or what?
Uh, no,
The continuous integration, continuous deployment process for
no,
the deployments.
no, we are not using that. Just we'll be using in Bitbucket to versioning our code. Every change which is done on the code will be committing into the Bitbucket and just we'll do versioning and just deploy it to the other one.
Okay, so by that you must be experiencing some merge conflicts also.
Yeah, yes, there may be merge conflicts. I mean, the same class can be worked by users, right? So
Yes.
yeah, uh,
So how do you resolve those merge conflicts?
uh, I mean, so I think till now we did not require that. Till now we did not get a chance problem like merge conflicts, but uh, we will be using a scratch org for every user so that a user can code in that particular scratch org. Yeah.
Okay, so basically, what the basic idea was to use the version control system, and sometimes we use the Git or the source tree, so that
Okay.
we can see the differences in a Apex class or Apex trigger or any component, which
Yes.
was
Yes. Yeah.
yeah
Yeah. I
already
mean,
told.
in Bitbucket also, yes, I got it. So if there is any conflicts in the in two versions, so we can directly merge in Bitbucket as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So so, what are the different type of events in Lightning?
Uh, so we have like we have platform events which it's basically like an throwing a notification to the user like we can raise a platform event. That's what I know. One is platform event, and yeah, and also
No,
we
I'm
have
talking about the application events or
okay,
the
okay,
component
got
events.
it. Yeah, got it. So there are two types of events in Lightning components. One is application event and component event. So component event is passing an attribute between communication between the two components is known as we can communicate between the two components using events. One is a component event and other is application event. Component event we can pass data between the child and parent in an hierarchical, whereas coming to application event it has wider range of audience. So if there is no hierarchical relationship between the component, also we can pass the attributes to that component.
Okay. So
Yeah.
altogether, so we have also the system events and the
Yes.
component events and application events, browser events.
Okay. Yeah. I heard
So
about it, but I'm not sure
mhm.
about the browser event. Can you give me that any brief on it?
So maybe will not tell you the proper descriptive way,
Yeah. No
but you
problem.
can just
Yeah.
search
Yeah.
like
Sure.
these are the four events which we keep in practice. So, but the most important ones are the component events and the application events.
Hmm.
So yeah, and so is Lightning an MVC framework?
Yes. Yeah.
No, it's
Lightning
not.
is MVCC. Lightning is MVCC. MVCC. Model View Client Side Controller and Server Side Controller. It has two controllers. One is client side controller and server side controller.
So which is server side and which is client side?
Client side is JavaScript, Lightning JS, Lightning Helper, and server side controller is Apex backend.
Apex backend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and have you heard about the collections in Apex?
Yes, there are three types of collections in Apex. One is list and set and maps. So list is we can list may contains a list of IDs, list of strings. It supports the duplicate values, but coming to set, it does not allow the duplicate values. Coming to map, it's a key value pair where we can get the value based on the key.
So which one is the ordered?
Uh, I think it's uh, set is ordered, I guess.
No, set is unordered and the list is ordered.
Okay, okay, yeah.
So when we so usually so let us suppose we have multiple keys for the map, like
Okay.
A represent A for A comma apple, A comma banana, A comma orange. So what will be the final result of this map? So how
So
the
it
map
has on
logic works?
key has only key should not have a duplicate. All key should be unique. So whichever the last thing will be in the map. For example, A and orange will be the only thing in the map.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So so do you can you please name me some of the lightning based components?
I mean the component bundles you are asking.
So some of the lightning based components which are provided by Salesforce, like lightning data table
Okay,
or
okay.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
like those.
Lightning data table one, lightning input, lightning input email, lightning button, which has some variant like brand neutral, destructive success, and lightning layout, lightning card, uh, and also we have lightning layout item, and
Okay,
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. Do you have some idea about the interfaces which we implement in Lightning while creating a Aura component?
No, I never. I mean, I never use. I got lightning interface. I
So
don't. Yeah, tell me please. Yeah.
interfaces are just like when we wanted to expose a Lightning component to some like we wanted to expose a Lightning component to one Lightning page or
Okay, okay. Yeah, got it, got it. I thought of lightning interface. I thought of you are asking about lightning interface. So we can implement lightning available for community pages for quick action. Force colon has record ID. Force colon has a object name. For record page like that. Is it correct, right?
yes, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I
So,
thought like you were asking about that lightning interface. So that's what I confused.
yeah, so these are some of the implements keyword
Yes.
after
Yeah.
you can remember.
First thing that about the browser events are nothing. Those are the events that we uh, handle on chains or like on click, on double click, on mouse over. Whatever
Okay.
the
Okay.
events that are available by default by HTML, those are the browser events. Okay. And then system events are the events like you have got on in it. You have got some other events that your Aura components provide by default. You no need to develop anything.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So
Yeah.
there is one scenario for me. Suppose that I have a custom object which I wanted to send to the system before that gets saved into the Salesforce. Okay. So again,
Okay.
I'll repeat. There is a custom object. When I click on save button, I wanted to send that record to the external system. External system will perform some calculation and then will revert back with some response to me. And then once I get the response, then after I need to save that record. If there is any error, I don't need to save that record. How I can do that?
Uh, we can call a future method in before insert or before update trigger.
Okay, but in case of future method will run in async. I don't know. There are possibilities my record will get saved before the future method uh,
Uh,
executes. Even future method doesn't return anything.
yes, yes. So in that scenario, we can go ahead and create a custom lightning component and just perform the logic after the save button, or we can override that save button logic, right? So
Okay, how we can override that save button?
uh, no idea, Amit.
Okay, so can we override save button?
Uh, I saw in something article. I just heard about it, but I'm not sure about it.
Okay, so basically to your answer is correct. We need to override the save button. But in
Yeah.
order to override the save button, we have to override the complete new record. That means we need to override the new button. And as soon as we'll override new button, that is going to override the save button. We have to provide our own save button.
Okay, got it. Yeah. So in that scenario, we have to create the custom component with new look and feel, right? So
Yes, you
how
can
does
create.
yeah, yeah, yes.
Okay. So there is another scenario. Suppose that there is a VA page or a lightning component. You can suppose any one of them. And then on the button click, I need to call a web service, right?
Yeah.
And that web service is making a call out to the external system, returning some response to me, and I am displaying that response inside a data table. That is working fine. Now later on, as data increases, or we can say, yep, we can say as data increases, there is an error of timeout error. How we can resolve that?
Uh, so I mean this we can. So is this web service called on whenever the record is saved to database, something like that?
No, there is a button, and on the button click, that web service is being called and returning us the response, and we are getting the timeout error.
Okay. We can use asynchronous apex, which has some which will run in the own thread like that. We can use.
No, actually, the requirement is that on the click of a button, we just need to show the information then and there. That is a real-time requirement.
Okay. No, no idea, Amit. Can you give me a brief on it? Yeah.
Okay, so in a web service call, whenever we are doing the integration, we have a method called set timeout, and we can provide the maximum timeout, that is 120 seconds. So we can provide there, and then still if we are getting the error, there is a concept of continuation. And continuation, what it does, I will give you a very brief overview, and then you can read about that. Continuation, whenever you send a request to the web service, continuation breaks the connection between your component or between your view pages. And then once that service returns the response, continuation again makes the connection and then give you the result. So in that case, it also improves the performance and also take care of this timeout error thing.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll try to do this thing. Yeah.
Yep. So in the omni-channel skill-based routing, what you have done?
So I implemented a skill-based routing. We can based on the service resource skill, we can route that cases to a particular agent. So we can implement skill-based routing using using an Apex class, or also we can use Apex flows as well based on the subject. Based on the subject, if the case subject matches with the skills for a service resource, it will automatically assign to that agent.
Hmm. So what
Yeah.
approach did you follow?
I followed flows by using flows.
Uh, Okay, no problem. I think then we are good and we are good to close this.